Today on How It's Made.
So you want to learn how to wheelie. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there, but lucky for you, I've seen probably just about all of them, and I'm gonna try to give you some tips that I think a lot of people have skipped over, and just a couple other things that hopefully are gonna get you guys to wheelie. So let's get right into this one. So without any further ado, we're gonna start talking about the bike setup. Now let's go ahead and talk about the bike setup that you're gonna need to perform wheelies. You don't need to have a stunt bike. This is going to apply to any motorcycle. This is going to apply to Groms, dirt bikes, 450s, 250s, any motorcycle, Harleys, anything with one of these, a foot brake and a throttle. And that's all you're going to need is that foot brake and that throttle. And that's going to be your key to doing wheelies. Now, one more thing I want to talk about before we get into doing wheelies is riding ability. I want you guys to ride your motorcycle, whatever it is, for at least 1 year before you ever try to wheelie, okay? I just need you to understand how the bike works. You got to understand, like, all the basics. You need to be able to floor your motorcycle in whatever gear, first, second, any gear. You got to know what it feels like to floor it. You got to know what it feels like to lock up that rear brake. Go ride for a year. If you've done that already, now you're ready for wheelies. Now your goal is going to be to pop it straight to balance point. So what you really want to do at the end of the day is go from here straight up to balance point. Okay, you don't want to be chasing the wheelie. You don't want to do one of these. You're going to. You don't want to do that. Your goal is to pop it straight to there. All right, now you are not going to do that at first. You're not even going to get close. At first, what I want you guys to do is I want you to just roll on the throttle a little bit. Go first gear, second gear, whatever feels comfortable. Roll on the throttle just a little bit. Pull the clutch and let go. That's it. Hold the throttle where it's at, pop the clutch, and you'll get a tiny little baby wheelie. And you're going to get a lot of shit, but that is technically a wheelie. You got the front wheel off the ground, you're on one wheel. So congratulations. If you've done that, you got your first wheelie. Now, take it slow. You do not have to crash. You probably will crash, but you do not have to crash. I was very lucky. I took it very slow. I learned on this thing, and I didn't crash at all until I started scraping and learning tricks and stuff. But if you take your time, you shouldn't crash. Now, what I want you to do is do that just a little higher. So you're just going to be getting a little bit more into that throttle every time, and it's just going to get a little bit higher, a little bit higher. And then once you're really comfortable with that, what you're going to do is either hold the clutch in a little bit longer so it revs higher, or you're going to give it a little pop. You're going to give it a little twitch of the gas while you pull the clutch. So as soon as the clutch is in, give it a little twitch, let out a little bit. That's going to be your real how to wheelie. That's going to be your throttle control. Okay, and I want you guys to just progress just a little bit each day. You're not going to learn how to wheelie overnight. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to come in 2 days. It's not going to come in a week. It's not going to come in a month. You're going to have to put in a lot of seat time. Seat time is going to be the key to this. All right, so now say you got a good amount of seat time. You're getting wheelies like this. Well, maybe a little bit higher than that, and you're kind of riding the wheelie out a little bit. So maybe you're about here, which means you have some throttle control. That's good. What I want you to do is make sure you're really steady with that throttle. Don't start chopping it. Don't do one of these. Just be really smooth and steady with your throttle. Because when I'm wheeling on this thing, especially on this thing, it's going to be a little bit different on a Grom or a 250. You're going to have to get a little bit more or less into it. But when I'm wheeling this thing, I'm only moving my wrist like that much. Just barely at all, okay? Got a little distracted. Now that you got the wheelies about right here, you're riding them out a little bit, preferably a little bit lower than that, because I actually use the brake a little bit. What I'm going to tell you to do is to start using that foot brake. And you can even start using it just with 2 wheels on the ground and just feeling how it works out. Stay under throttle a little bit, keep it under load, and just work that brake while you're under throttle. That way you're going to figure out what it feels like when you hit the brake, and maybe you have a little bit of throttle, whatever. You're going to be fine, all right? You're going to know that that brake works a lot better than you think it does. Because even though most of your braking on sport bikes is with that front brake, your back brake does a lot more than you really think it does, I promise you. So pop it up, work that foot brake a little bit, set it down. Don't worry about making them long. Don't chase the wheelies out. You're just gonna blow up your bike. You're just gonna make your RPMs go super high, and then you're not gonna be riding for very long. Pop it up as high as you feel comfortable, hit that foot brake, stomp it down. Just go ahead and stomp it down. Like that. That's all I want you to do. Pop it up, stomp it down. Pop it up, stomp it down. As soon as you get a little bit scared, stomp that foot brake. That's gonna get you the reaction of hitting the foot brake anytime you get a little bit past where you're comfortable. And that's what you're gonna need to do wheelies. You're gonna need to be able to do that without thinking about it. Your foot just has to hit that foot brake without you telling it to hit that foot brake. So after you do it enough, you're gonna get that mind muscle connection and you're gonna be hitting that foot brake before you even think about it. Now let's talk just a little bit about body placement. It's not gonna be super important while you're still learning, but what I want you to not do is to lean forward. I want you to keep your body straight on the bike. So if you just got your arms just a little bit bent, just keep them like that. Pop that clutch, do what you're doing, and just keep your body in that same position. Okay, because the bike doesn't really care if you're leaning forward or back. It's not gonna, if you lean forward, it's just gonna make it harder to wheelie. But it's not gonna put the wheelie down or anything. That's what their foot brake's for. So just really, body position, all I'm gonna say is to keep your body straight upright. Don't lean forward when you pop it up, and make sure that your bike is completely straight up and down when you pop it up. A lot of times when you're learning, you're gonna be just a little crooked or something, and it's gonna make the bike come up weird. It's gonna make the bike come up crooked and it's gonna feel a little bit weird. So as long as you're popping the bike up straight, you should be all right. And all the rest of the body control will come naturally once you have enough seat time doing wheelies. All right. So you've been riding for at least a year. You have good throttle control. You know what the brake's gonna do under load and maybe under, like, while you're doing a wheelie. Now I'm gonna need you to unlearn that foot brake, okay? It's gonna sound a little bit weird. What do you mean unlearn the foot brake? You're supposed to use it all the time. Yes, use the foot brake all the time. But what a lot of guys will do is they'll get to that balance point, and also, I'm gonna just sneak this in here. Try doing knee knockers and stuff, like put your knee on the seat, do a wheelie, maybe like staggered, as long as you have that foot on the foot brake, all right? But don't just only do sit downs, okay? Because I was actually a lot more comfortable doing knee knockers before I was ever comfortable doing sit downs. Now that I got that out of the way, what a lot of guys will do is they'll get to that balance point right here, and then they'll be afraid to drop back. Every time they hit balance point, they'll hit that brake like that and jam it. And what they're doing, maybe what you're doing, is you're hitting the brake too hard. You just gotta be comfortable and try to relax and don't hit that brake so hard, all right? You have throttle control. You know that the brake's gonna take the wheelie down. Just take a minute and just give it a little baby tap. Like, pretend it's a tomato, all right? You don't wanna squish the tomato. You wanna squeeze it a little bit, all right? If you gotta squish the tomato, absolutely squish the shit out of that tomato. It's just a tomato, don't worry about it. But if you wanna keep a long wheelie and drop it back, you're gonna have to just baby tap that brake. So again, just like how you were learning how to pop up a wheelie, let it come back just a little bit more and set it down. Let it come back just a little bit more and set it down. Just pop it straight to balance point like we want, like you can do. Drop it back just a little bit more and set it down. That's it. Just do that over and over and over and over until you're scraping this fucking thing, all right? I promise eventually you're gonna get there. Just don't be scared. Push yourself just a little bit each day. And I want you guys to, at the end of your session, point out something that you noticed that you did a little bit better than the day before. And it's not gonna be anything big. When you're starting out, it's gonna be, oh, I hit the foot brake when I got scared, all right? That's great. That's absolutely positive. That's progress right there. That's what you need, is just baby step progress. You don't need to hit balance point in a week. Nobody ever did. Everyone that you see is doing it has been doing it for years. We all put a bunch of time into this stuff. Seat time's gonna be your best friend. And also with the foot brake tomato analogy, you can think of it as a car foot brake. You don't want to jam that brake on your car. It's gonna send all the weight forward and everything's gonna fly forward in your car. You just tap it a little bit until you need it, all right? If you need it, you absolutely jam it. But if you don't need it, you're just baby tapping that brake. I really hope this helps somebody out there. I know there's a whole lot of how-to wheelie videos, but I still have some people asking me how to wheelie. And I know that a lot of videos, they actually skip over a lot of stuff about like foot brake and unlearning foot brake, even body control. I know it can be pretty hard to figure out how to do this stuff while you're motovlogging. That's why I have a whole list for me right here. So it's hard to remember all the points. This is actually my second time trying to film this, because my first time I actually forgot a few things I wanted to tell you guys. So like I said, I hope this helps. I hope you guys are getting to balance point. Make a little bit of progress every day. That's what matters. If you know anyone that's struggling to wheelie, or they got balance point and they're struggling to scrape, send this to them. Hopefully this will help. And if you like the video, please like the video. That'll help me out a lot. I definitely need likes on my channel. I'm not getting that many likes. I'm getting a lot of views, but not likes. I don't know what that's about. Help me out. Come on, guys. And if you're feeling a little bit adventurous, maybe check out some of those other buttons that are going to pop up on the screen right now. Later, player. It takes more than wheelies to be a stunt rider. At least that's what they say. Hard to lay back on it, though. Whoa. I'm dizzy! Ah, dizzy! I'm dizzy! I'm dizzy! Yeah, I'm dizzy! Oh, Jesus.